Hi Joel, great to have you along to have a bit of a chat with you and talk to you about your nutrition. And you've just had training, is that right?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Hope you've looked after your recovery before you've come here.
Yeah, absolutely, before and after training. Yeah, and I just finished obviously all the liquid stuff that I needed to and getting back the sugars and hydration levels obviously with all the water that I've lost over the training session.
Fantastic. It looks like a pretty warm day outside, so I guess hydration has been pretty important today.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously heading towards summer, so hydration is going to be very important for obviously training sessions and games. So obviously water and electrolytes, Powerade and Gatorade, all that kind of stuff is going to be very important for the body and for the guys to be able to perform at the elite level and where you're going to need to be if you're going to reach that top level.
Great. Sounds like you're pretty clued up on nutrition. Why is nutrition important to you as an athlete?
Especially being a bowler, I've found that over the years, obviously having to bowl more overs in games and being out in the field for a longer period of time, concentration levels I've found that can drop quite quickly, especially when I'm during a spell. So keeping all the electrolytes and fluid running through the body helps for me, the concentration part of the game, and obviously with all the results done over the last few years, that keeping your body hydrated makes you perform at a high level. So yeah, definitely over the last couple of years, hydration especially has become a massive part of my cricket, and for all the young guys that are wanting to take cricket to the next level, I highly recommend that they take hydration really seriously.
It's a great point that you've raised there, that we've got some really young athletes in the TAP program. At what age did you start thinking about nutrition, and what age would you recommend that they start taking their nutrition seriously?
Yeah, probably under 14s or 15s were the first sort of development squads that I was involved in. And ever since then, the assistant coaches and coaches have been really getting into us how important nutrition and especially hydration is. Obviously, to be able to perform at the level that you need to, but also to stay fit and injury free. So probably under 14s and 15s were the first sort of signs that I had of how important nutrition is. But certainly I found in the last couple of years, so state 17 squads and 19 squads where I really had to make sure that I was doing all the right things and making sure that my body was getting all the things that it needed.
So it sounds like it's never too early to start thinking about what you're putting in your mouth and what you're drinking.
Yeah, absolutely not. If you can start early, you're probably going to get a bit ahead of some of the other guys. And if you start some good habits early, then you'll be able to carry them right throughout your career. And yeah, give yourself every opportunity of performing well.
Fantastic. Did you just think about nutrition around games, or how important is nutrition to you on an everyday basis?
Yeah, probably when I was younger, I was more focused on nutrition obviously before the game, so the night before, and not immediately after. But I found over the last 2 or 3 years, obviously having to play a lot more cricket and more frequently, that I've had to really focus on nutrition even just during the days and when I'm not playing, so drinking a lot of water during the days, because I found that that has an impact. If you don't do it, even 3 days before, that it actually influences how you play out in the field. So yeah, making sure that obviously breakfast, lunch and dinner, you're having proper meals, healthy options, and yeah, basically just always have a water bottle in your hand. Just doesn't need to be long sips, just little ones every now and then, just to keep the body flowing and the fluid through the body.
Can you tell us about the types of things that you pack in your cricket bag when you've got training?
Yeah, basically we normally have our training sessions in the morning. So for breakfast, I've obviously found that breakfast for me is almost the main meal of the day. So basically when I take to cricket is basically a music bar. I normally have a Powerade with me and probably a fruit, so an apple or banana. and I'll have that probably 5 or 10 minutes before training. And yeah, obviously have another hour to Gatorade after training. But in terms of sort of breakfast wise, I'm really big on breakfast, so I like a bowl of cereal, sometimes a brown or brown or something like that, and a couple of pieces of toast, and a glass of orange juice. That's basically what I do each day. And changes if I've got a game sort of day before or day after. I normally just have a lighter meal in the morning, especially when we bowl, but definitely keep something in your stomach, so that allows your body to keep performing.
I think it's a fantastic point you've raised there. There's probably some members of our TAP program that maybe don't have breakfast every day. Is that a point that you would encourage them to really make sure they have something?
Absolutely, definitely. And for me, I can really tell on the days that I'm flat or maybe that I haven't really stuck to my sort of nutrition program. Obviously my performance is down, and just generally I don't feel as up as I normally would. So definitely you can start as early as you can to have a really proper nutritional breakfast. Even just doesn't have to be a large amount, just the right stuff.
Yeah. From some of the things that you've mentioned, it sounds like being prepared is really vital.
Yeah.
Making sure you've got the right foods with you and your water bottle and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I normally have a box of muesli bars up in my locker, just to have a spare, just in case I'm not feeling really up to it. I'll have just one or two maybe, and that really gets me through to where I need to be and performing where I think I should be performing.
Yeah, I think some of our athletes probably have really busy schedules like you do when they're going to school and then going to training after school or playing multiple games on a weekend. So being prepared is obviously something that they really should be taking on board.
Yeah, absolutely, and it all comes down to obviously professionalism and how seriously you want to take your cricket. So being prepared is obviously a major part of taking a step in your cricket career. So there's no excuses to not having something with you, either a drink bottle or a piece of fruit or a muesli bar or something like that.
Great. So can you tell us, have you, since joining the Warriors squad, have you tried your hand at cooking, or have you found that you getting around the shops and finding out about food?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of weeks ago, Sophie Porter, one of the nutrition people, came in and spoke to us about how important it is to keep going with your nutrition and different foods that you can eat. Obviously, doing stuff like curries and stuff, cream's probably not the option, so she's recommended some coconut cream, and that's apparently really good for you. I'm going to trust her on that, but I've been using that quite a bit. Once a week I've been given the cooking job at home, so yeah, basically I'm really conscious on what I put in my mouth, and obviously when I'm not cooking, what mum and dad are putting in the dishes as well, especially if I've got training the next day or a game, because it can have a pretty big influence on how you perform.
Yeah, I know that some of our athletes are travelling away with state squads and with teams. How much focus do you put on what you're eating when you're playing away?
Yeah, probably it's another step on what you do when you're training. Obviously, playing, you're going to have to really step up even another level from training. So, nutrition again has a really major role in that, and yeah, making sure that you don't step out of your habits that you have been doing. So, if the hotel that you're staying at, if you're away, doesn't really have the things that you need, make sure that you either speak to the coach or the assistant coach, and I'm sure they'll help you with what things that you can do to get around sort of the barriers that you've had, especially when you're travelling.
Yeah, it's a great point that you've made there. When you're travelling away with the team, it's really about performance and not so much that holiday side of things, how some athletes might think it's a time to enjoy different foods. Really, you probably want to be doing the same things that you're doing regularly at home, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I found pretty quickly last year the foods that my body was comfortable with eating before games. So yeah, it's really not a time and place to be experimenting with different foods. Just stick to the foods that you know that will make you perform at a high level, and yeah, stick to those, and they'll do well for them.
Oh, thanks for joining us for a chat, Joel. Really appreciate your time. Before we go, have you got any final tips for our TAP athletes?
Yeah, just basically the major point is to really not forget about nutrition, and especially me being a bowler, hydration as well, and don't get into bad habits to not having breakfast before training or before games, and not having proper meals even the night before, because if you're thinking that it won't impact on the game, I can tell you that it will, and you will feel worse off knowing that you could have done something about it. So yeah, keep getting onto yourself about eating the right foods, and yeah, best of luck for all of your career.